there is a good news. The technology is going very fast. We are trying to give options on the table which can make the things on a very fast pace. The innovation is going good. The overall impact on the society and the things need to be judged. There is a bad news. We don't know, do we know this technology or not? We don't know which ones to pick up, knowing our configuration of society that is there with the ethical values as well. We don't know where we will end up on the pace of this technology as well. I think very nicely explained in the last presentation was about the mobile first, the cloud first, the AI first, and to be honest, we don't know what is next first that will come in next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. And we are ready for it. We know that this change is going to come, and this change is going to come very fast in the system. And I will start this discussion with a very interesting example. My eldest son just graduated from the university and got his first job offer 2 days back in America. And he called me and he asked me, hey, I got this job offer. What do you think? And frankly, this was from a company that started its business 3 years back. And it was says as startup data mining corporate starter. So I was not able to judge from the designation where it will end up. And it was not the top 20 or the 50 companies of the world that we judge that if they will get the job in this one, that's where the future will rise there. That's the story that this new generation will face every day. The new things that are coming up is also creating a fear that is that the journey that we as individuals will be able to enable ourselves on. The competition that is coming is from the 22-year-old to the 50-year-old. They are all at the same level because we expect them to use these tools and get these outputs on the same way. What lies ahead, the topic of today, covers all these different aspects. And we have a panel which will definitely go into detail, and everybody on this panel is coming up in a different dimension. So just for the panelists, I will not start left to right. I want you all to be very attentive all the time so that I can pick up on any one of them that we start on. So you will be very ready on each of the questions over here. So let me start, first of all, Asif, with you. You just took over the role of business in PTCL. What are the things that as a business in the business community today, and knowing into the technology, the readiness of the Pakistan market with reference to PTCL as well, and what are the business opportunities that, knowing the direction of AI, we can pick up to our teams, to our competition, to the people of Pakistan as well? How PTCL is getting ready from that angle to provide these services, coming specifically from the AI angle as well?
So thank you very much, Saqib, and thank you, Asfar and team, for inviting me over. So you've caught me by surprise. I thought there are a lot of people before me, so one of them will be the first one, but I take it as it comes. So again, when it comes to PTCL, Saqib, we have a huge legacy. We started serving this country since the very inception, since the country was created, right? So over a period of time, of course, we have been the core supplier of connectivity and collaboration, and as time passed on, we evolved into ourselves into data connectivity and became one of the largest data carrier, both in terms of international traffic as well as domestic traffic. From there, I think the company continued its journey, and now I'm very proud as I joined the company, because as my predecessor used to call, we are the national carrier of connectivity and data in this country, and we take a lot of pride in that. So I see a great evolution, and from there I'll see and I'll discuss about the opportunities that the country has and the market has to offer. So we evolved ourselves into a prime supplier and service provider of data centers, among, I think, the best of the line quality, high-end tier 3 data centers. From there, we evolved ourselves into cloud and became a major player in, in cloud service provisioning in the country. From there, we grew ourselves into different services, including intelligent automation, IoT, cybersecurity, and all. And as you very rightly pointed out, and I think the discussion, the topic that everybody likes to discuss these days, which is around artificial intelligence, this is how we also see the market to be evolving. I think a lot of speakers spoke about, yesterday and this morning about the importance and criticality of artificial intelligence. And we at PTCL Group, looking at our customers, their demands, changing market needs, we also see that as a great opportunity, not only for, for the tech industry, but industries across the board. The way artificial intelligence is bringing efficiencies is unheard of. It's unprecedented. I think Mars spoke about humanity's last exam, and you see the kind of evolution and the maturity these large language models have started to exhibit. On the other side, we see with DeepSeek, the cost optimization and a little bit of tweaking when it comes to infrastructure and the algorithms, things have changed. What I see, Saqib, and moving on, the consumption of technology is going to change in a very rapid and a very critical way, because till date, most of the times it's us, the human beings, using enterprise solutions and technology. But as I see moving forward, it is going to be a combination of us, the human beings, software bots, algorithms, and machines. So the opportunity is great, everything is changing, and I think we all need to be geared up to adapt and embrace the new era of artificial intelligence. Otherwise, we'll be left behind and we'll become obsolete very, very soon. So this is my take, Saqib.
So we will get obsolete and we will go very, very soon. That's really a challenge these days. If you see the movies that are bringing in, they are bringing in the robots in our lives more and more. And usually what I see what happens in these movies, they are coming to us in next 5 to 10 years. That's what the history tells us. Now the time will be less for that one. Thank you very much, Asif. Burak was the group CFO of Vion. I think the important part is there's a lot of debate, the role that telecom operators are providing in the system, and then it comes from the software providers that provide, and they take away the money overall from the application side. I always say, I come from the telecom background, and I say how much groundwork is done over here. And there is also now the telecom industry and the banking industry, there is a big merge that is happening in terms of the financial prudence there as well. Where do you think in the next 5 years the telecom industry is going to invest? Is it the AI? It's the infrastructure? It's the licenses? Where the money will go, and how do you see it coming up?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's my first time in Pakistan. I am new with Vion, 3 months into the job, but Vion with Jazz has been here for 25 years. So I'm sure I'm be coming much more to this beautiful country. So coming back to your question, I believe the investment will be in all areas, but the right areas. We need to make sure that we don't jump on the train just because the train has left the station. I mean, Michael, this morning, the first things you heard was that how telecom companies failed in Africa in terms of investing in infrastructure that might be needed, not needed in now, but in the future stages of life. So we need to make sure that we invest smartly by doing the right decisions in terms of due diligence. I believe due diligence is very important here to make sure that we tap the untapped or underserved markets. So if the untapped and underserved markets are within industries like healthcare, financial services, education, that's the areas that we need to tap in and make sure that we create stickiness with the revenues and also with the customers which are available on those markets, and making sure that we create recurring revenue streams, which I believe is very important for the financial health of the company. So going forward, as I said, it will be mostly on the digital space that the telecom companies will invest in. Because infrastructure, to be honest, is a different specialty. And for example, now in Pakistan, we are working with another distinguished corporation, Engro, and we just closed the deal to sell our assets in line with our asset line strategy as we own. What we are doing is we are kind of transferring those assets to a company who can run it better than us. At the same time, creating value to use that value into investments into sectors like digital, healthcare, as I said. And so the future of telecom industry, as I said, is going to be in those specific sectors with digital services, and we are going to do that. I'm very happy to say, as Jazz now, 20% of our revenue is coming from digital services in Pakistan, which is a flagship in VEON, because when you look at VEON, it's around 12%. So in Jazz, it's more than 20%. And thanks to all of you here, which I'm sure using one or other of the Jazz services, and if not, you are not using them, you will be using them very soon, I believe. And the ecosystem and the country that is kind of enabling us to enable that growth.
So thank you very much for that one. And of course, I'm personally a Jazz customer, and I think there are 3 customers on this panel from SAP that are part of here as well. I think the most important part over here in terms of telco is, and the people sitting in the room can judge, how many times do we do a mobile call anymore? Either we are doing a WhatsApp call or MSN Messenger call or something. If you think over how much we have shifted on data and how we are using the services, there is already a change that we have brought in. Hardly there is a mobile call that goes on. There was a big revenue that was coming out from the international calls. That has gone in. So something great that the telecom companies are doing is they're shifting completely their strategy to the data. They're not called anymore telecom operators. They are called the data company anymore. So that's the change that they are bringing in, and that's the change that the society is driving towards them as well. Brendan, coming to you overall, and I really liked when I saw you on the panel, because this is not what I have moderated before. You are a CEO of Internet of Aviation Aeroblock there. What is the impact of all this IT transformation, this digital transformation, the worlds of the AIs that we talk about on the aviation industry? How do you see it moving in the next 3 to 5 years, the impact of technology in your specific industry?
Assalamu alaikum. Great to be back in Islamabad again, a place I love very much. So just to give it a little bit of grounding, half the tickets in the world today that are booked online go through software written in the 1960s, right? So there's a legacy problem there to be solved first. And that's one of the things we're doing, is rebuilding the legacy systems, which is the hard part. I worked in machine learning in the 1980s. I worked in blockchain in the early 90s. These technologies have been around for a long time. The scalability of compute power has just managed to reach the levels where we can actually implement them at scale. So these are not necessarily new algorithms. The mathematics behind them is quite old. Having said that, the technology opportunity is absolutely immense, especially for a country like Pakistan, where you have the youth and you have the eagerness and the enthusiasm to learn new technologies. And for folks out there, a laptop and a decent broadband enters you into this global play of new technologies. So the AI, for example, is playing a big role now in prediction with aircraft in terms of maintenance prediction, which saves a lot of money and also plays a big role in safety. And it does it just better than humans. It just takes the amount of data that humans cannot absorb. But you do need humans and still involved in safety in a big way. The other thing is the legacy systems are still there. They are so entangled in old rules and regulations, it's very hard to untangle them. And what also happens is you have the advent of middlemen. This year is the first year in history that airlines will cross the $1 trillion mark of revenue. But they only get 3% in profits. And the reason they get only 3% in profits is because there are so many middlemen who take a slice of the action from that 100%. And one of the reasons for that is the airlines have not learned to collaborate, and they find it difficult to work with competition. Now, blockchain allows airlines to collaborate with smart contracts in ways they've never done before. So the smart contracts, you'll start to see them playing a role in multi-metal bookings and so forth. You also have the likes of digital twins being used in maintenance as well, where we can model aircraft and we know the parts that are on the aircraft. So one of the biggest problems in aviation is bogus parts. And that is a huge safety concern. We all know about the Boeing 737 MAX. What we probably don't know is that there was a huge issue with bogus parts with the 737 MAX. At the same time, they had the issues with performance. And that can be eliminated by a distributed ledger, a global distributed ledger for maintenance and parts across the economy. Another area, for example, we're working with a very large airport. We're at a proposal stage where airports lose 5 to 15% of their revenue just by bad data. It's very hard to believe, but it's actually true. So we're piloting a system where we use a blockchain and a smart contract to have a single pane of truth for both the airline and the airport. So they both agree, it becomes dispute-free, and it also means that we all agree that the aircraft that landed is the actual aircraft, and the number of people on board, and all of the charges, there's 137 charges at an airport, were charged correctly. So that's a big step forward. So a lot of these technologies are only starting to come in, but as I stressed, the legacy systems have to either be replaced or interfaced very smoothly. That's the key issue here.
Some of the very, very important numbers that you give, overall 1 trillion revenue that you're talking about from the airline agency and only 3% margin. And I think that's where everybody is going into, that how we can take the middleman out and make sure that technology helps them in connecting. So very interesting. You also talked about predictive analysis and predictive sales angles over there as well. To be honest, my wife is sitting over here somewhere in the crowd, and I'm looking for the AI which can predict some of the moods as well, which can help me in my married life as well. So I think we all are looking for that AI tools that help us professionally and personally both ways. Haseeb, coming to you here. Here are some of the customers you heard, PTCL from the aerospace, Jazz. And you are the enabler. You are the ones with Telemarks Consulting providing these services to them. So implementing them, making sure that you are able to provide how the system will go. How do you see these tools? Do we have the right set of resources? Are we trained enough? How this digital ecosystem of Pakistan is ready to do what we all are talking about in terms of AI and other things? Are we ready?
What we do as TMC, the problem that we were trying to solve was to go in to digitally transform a particular process or service and put an ERP or a solution which used to automate a particular process or a service. So this is what we do as an organization. The question has already changed for us. So now when we're trying to automate a particular service or put a digital sort of an ecosystem to automate a particular service, already we are asking ourselves, can AI chatbot do this? Can we have an AI chatbot provide this particular service instead of a person coming in and interacting with the website or a portal, etc.? So the questions that we were asking has already changed locally for us in that field itself as well. And not just for us, in many industries, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is aerospace, in every industry. So many of the operations that we see which can be very effectively done by AI. It's not a question of efficiency anymore, that if the same operation is to be done using AI, it is going to be more efficient. It is rather the accuracy or the problem that AI can solve cannot be solved otherwise. So we have new fields coming up. I have a few examples to share. Already in textile sector, we have AI-based quality checks that is quality checking everything. Our customers in textile manufacturing, as an example, are sending out video sales letters generated from AI in those AI-based generated avatars are wearing their clothes and are modeling in those video sales letters that they are sending across their customers as well. We have many in every industry. In poultry, we have these AI-based imaging and sensing, which senses that how the production is going to go forward. We have cameras now on the show floors in Pakistan where people are monitoring their sales force, if somebody is working, how efficiently they are working, what they are working on, so on and so forth. So AI, in terms of its usage locally in manufacturing industry, is already being adapted for a single reason, it brings efficiency, and it solves problems which were not solved earlier per se in a better way. Now, in terms of skills, again, as they say that the skill set that is going to be required for AI is going to vary drastically and quickly change. We are going to require perhaps more thinkers, more problem solvers and critical thinkers than, let's say, coders. So I think in the skills that we produce today in our education system, what we need is the ability of our students to solve problems by using AI and by using the latest tech and advancements in AI, so that we are able to put those to create that effective workforce which can solve problems of tomorrow. I think that is one of the key things that we do. What we also need to be looking at is at our workplaces as well. So there is one thing, the new skill that we need to create, and then at our workplaces as well, we need to effectively and quickly upskill people with AI, with some of the very basics things that can be achieved with AI very, very quickly, that need to be adopted, and workforce need to be upskilled across our organizations as well, across all sectors. And I think from an adoptability and from a localization standpoint as well, what we used to see was that we, can people now in West interacts with systems in with Siri, with Google, with Chat GPT in natural language. And I think with AI, what is coming up very, very fast is AI and natural language being available in all the local languages as well. So you'll very soon see this as well, that a person from Multan speaking in Saraiki with an AI bot and asking what needs to be asked and the problem what need to be resolved with an AI agent. So that is how fast AI is coming and is going to be adopted locally as well.
So good points, Asif. First, I think the first part of the question answers. There's a lot of work in the industry in Pakistan going on AI. So we are not just talking. It's actually getting implemented in the manufacturing industry in Pakistan today. And that's important to acknowledge that we are already on that path in the industry in Pakistan at this point of time. The most important part is the second one that Asif, that you very rightfully explained, is the skill development. And the skill development is not part and responsibility only one person or one institution today. It starts from the education institution, it comes to the corporate firm that is working, and it comes to the customers as well, how they have to make sure they get the right skill developed in the employees or in the students that are coming in. We cannot put it only on one. We all have to take this responsibility today. Otherwise, we will be lacking behind. And the major thing in Pakistan that we have is the resource. And if we will not get this resource ready on the skill development, we will fail on that portion. So we need to take that responsibility. Thank you very much, Asif, for putting it over there. Usman, coming to you over here, being the CEO of a growing tech company over here, do we have good enough resources which can take over this innovation world that we are talking about in the global level? The competition is not anymore what we do and achieve in Pakistan. It's a global dimension that we are working on at this point of time. And how do you see this as tech company, the Pakistani companies are ready to take this challenge of this global innovation? Where do we stand?
We all need to understand one thing about this whole new paradigm of AI is that it's less of a tech problem, but more of a upskill problem. Yeah. Right? So any company would want to be relevant in this paradigm. So DevZing grew very fast. And I asked myself that what was the core reason of it? And it comes down to the core factor that we wanted to enable our clients in technology, using technology. And if our client is telling us that, okay, this is the new technology that they need for them to do better in manufacturing or hospitality or whatever industry they are from, I think we are too late. Right? So we need to enable our own engineers to think ahead of the curve. Yeah. But now the curve is AI, right? And the curve is going very, very fast. How can we unlock this problem? We all understand that in this new world, answers are not important. It's the question that matters, And it is not the CVs or the 30 years of experience or the university tag that matters anymore. What matters is that do you have the problem-solving skills or the creativity to stay ahead? I think with every new curve that is out there, it comes down to whether you get a chance to work on enough problems or not. So if we can enable our students, our resources, no matter if it's DevZing, I'll take Saqib to a next level where we're not just talking about DevZing, we're talking about universities or as a nation in Pakistan, that if we want to become a tech destination, we need to enable our students on actual problems with actual data. The more they're able to solve it, the more it'll change their mindset in terms of don't think code first, think AI first, right? And it will come down to, and the way DevZync is doing is what we are doing is we are talking to our clients, we are telling them that how about you use this AI tool for your own enablement, right? So we are pushing AI to them rather than they coming to us. And it's a double-ended sword where they are now getting ahead of the curve in their own sector by the use of AI, but our engineers are now trained. They're getting the chance to solve the problems, right? So the more problems and our engineers are solving, they'll be able to upskill themselves. That's the only way.
Thank you very much, Usman. And that's also one of the key lines of today. We need to know what to ask for from AI. It's not many more about the answer. It's about the prompt that we ask. And I think the second point that he very well highlighted, we need to work on the problem statements. Gone were the days when we have standard KPIs and standard solutions for our companies and we will say, take this solution and we will change the world. No. The customer will come up with a problem statement, which they are facing in their industry, with their segment, and we need to provide the solution of that problem statement with the tools that are present over here there as well. That's a change in the way that we are working. And thank you, Usman, for highlighting it. Man, you guys have challenges. The cloud is taking on everything. The infrastructure is being shifted to the data centers. The overall technology trend is being taken on by the IT companies who owns the end-to-end contracts. What are the challenges that you feel and what are the way ahead for the infrastructure domain to get this business growing in Pakistan and overall in the region as well?
Before I answer to your question, I wanted to relate a story about the topic, the navigating the unknown. This reminded me, and also the topic of this panel discussion, what matters now. It reminded me of the story Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. So Alice also apparently was navigating the unknown. She came to a fork in a road and she saw a Cheshire cat in a tree. And she asked the cat, which road should I take? The cat asked, where do you want to go? And Alice said, I don't know. So the cat said, if you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter which road you take. Now, in one way or the other, we are all trying to answer this question, where and which road to take. On the topic of on what you asked, so we all have priorities, and we see the priorities are shifting slowly, gradually. We see that the trends are moving over the years. We are slowly, gradually, but especially during the last 5 years, we have seen things of shift from the discussion of infrastructure to business impact. I'll divide the question into two on the priorities we see in the industry and priorities we see in the government sector. So, thank you. Thanks. Although there are overlapping, they overlap each other in sometimes, but there are some distinct focuses. For example, we see more and more that and I'm talking about GBM as the regional player along with IBM. We see, for example, hyper-personalized customer experience at every touch point being talked about nowadays. We see workforce upskilling and reskilling to enable the talent for the digital world. And we see cybersecurity and data privacy while complying with the regulations such as GDPR, and then smart automation, so such as for intelligent workflows. These are the industry ones, and then there are the government priorities. We see the moving in from infrastructure into requirements for example, public services, for citizen-centric public services, and we see smart cities for a sustained, efficient urban living. We see cyber terrorism as another topic that is being discussed these days, to secure critical infrastructure.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And then also digital inclusion and accessibility for the rural areas. So this is again, these are all the topics
enough.
that we're being discussed
covered
these
over
days,
there, yeah.
instead of, so that's the shift we see these days.
Thank you very much, Saqib. And I think you rightfully pointed out on the challenges front. Gentlemen, you can see on the screen, we have 20 minutes more, which leaves us with 3 minutes each for you for response. And it will be direct and rapid fire. I will start with you over here. Vion Group has invested heavily, and it's a great honor for us as a country that you have put your headquarters over here. You are investing like heavily in Pakistan. What are some of the other steps that you want us as Pakistan to do for you and other investors, which can help you get more investment in Pakistan? And how do you see that you can grow that business in Pakistan as well? Because we feel you are one of those which has trusted us and which is helping us to grow. What should we do more?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I mean, yes, we have moved our headquarters from Amsterdam to Dubai just to become closer to our markets. Because, for example, I was on the flight Sunday evening, morning at 3 a.m., and I was in the office at 7:30 a.m. here, working for the full day. So that made us very much connected to our markets, and that's what we like to do. And definitely, Vion Group, as you said, has invested close to $11 billion in Pakistan so far. So, and we intend to continue that. Definitely, we intend to continue that with digital products, as I said, and making the Pakistan economy and people much more digitally literate in terms of giving services like Tap Pay. So we have Tap Pay right now, which is enabling 500,000 plus SMEs to run their businesses day to day by getting payments. So we will invest in those areas, which will make sure the Pakistan economy grows. In return, I'm not saying we want, and by the way, I would like to commend Pakistan government for the last 1 year. Whatever they've been doing, and even more, is creating and fostering an investment environment here, which is very open and honest, and we could go and touch our counterparts in the government and kind of build win-win strategies, both for the government and for our company, in order to grow this digital ecosystem and also the payment system. So we just want the continuation of what has been happening the last 2-3 years in Pakistan in terms of creating a stable environment, economy, and having these open dialogues to create a win-win situation.
So is there anything, because we want other foreign investors to make sure that they become part of this journey as well. What are your key messages if you have to be an ambassador for Pakistan, for the foreign investment to get over here? What will be the 3 things that you tell them that is the best that work over here?
The 3 things that I would tell them, first one is population. Definitely population is key. And the second one, what Pakistan has to do is to invest more in stock market and have more of their companies opening into global stock markets. I mean, that's very important for global investors to catch an eye on Pakistan. What we are doing, for example, now we are opening our Kyivstar, which is our Ukrainian company, in Nasdaq stock market. So why not going forward to do the same similar thing for Jazz? That would create a fostering environment and recognition in Nasdaq with US investors in terms of Pakistan. So these are the things. I mean, Pakistan needs to kind of have companies that grow out of Pakistan for investors to come in, and us as international companies needs to foster that.
I think very, very valid point. We need more companies to be on the global map. And that's important for us to be much more visible in this that we are talking about. Today, and very nicely put in, I think if we get Vion, like the company like Vion, talking about what we can get from Pakistan, I think we need to be step ahead and notch ahead on this one. Thank you very much. Brendan, in the last discussion, the first question, you talked about a little bit blockchain and what is the impact that it can come on the aviation industry and how we can change. Can you a little bit elaborate more what blockchain can do for the aviation industry and how we can take benefit out of that?
Sure. Blockchain allows competitors to collaborate. And this is a game changer because it allows them to operate in economic environments and infrastructures without middlemen. Now, this is already happening in the bank. You see the disintermediation. You can see the fractionalization, the tokenization, and you're starting to see that in aviation very, very slowly. There are companies out there who, in the old world, would be our competitors, companies like TravelX, who are issuing NFTs for tickets. And you can transfer that NFT between wallets, and that transfers the ticket ownership. So we collaborate. What we call it is collaboration. So there's folks called Camino, and they're building a blockchain for travel. And what they have is the traveler's journey is documented on a single distributed ledger. So there's a collaboration between the airlines, the hotels, the electric scooters. Anyone who wants to play can collaborate. We're also doing that for cargo, so that all the folks out there say, where's my cargo? You know, you have a single spine that carries all that data. Just to give it into a context maybe to Pakistan, one of the things we're doing is we've built a concept called Aero Hub, and we're going to bring that to countries that we feel could benefit and people could get involved in the industry. And the idea is to give opportunity. I was lucky enough to go to a school in Ireland that had the first computer in Europe. And I was growing up in a very rural place with cows, milk, ghee, all of that, butter. And next thing, there was this strange machine in the room in the late 70s, early 80s. And from that class, the national head of cybersecurity, one of the guys won the Young Scientist of the Year of Europe. It was opportunity met ambition. So with AeroHub, what we're doing is we're setting up these labs. Hopefully, maybe the next time we are at this conference, I can announce one in Pakistan.
Oh, that's
the AeroHub lab is to give an opportunity to kids to come in, play in the space, and to own the IP. Now, that's all blockchain based, so they can come in and interface to the legacy system, so build systems really quickly without having to have this huge knowledge and experience and connectivity. So they could build a loyalty system with tokens, for example. That could be built in Pakistan and owned by the innovators themselves.
Have you interacted with any startups in Pakistan in terms of how do you see any of the Pakistani startups can help you in your journeys that you are talking?
Yeah, last year I did a look at the startup space around cargo and local delivery. And there was a couple of success stories there, all right. And obviously living in Dubai, we all know who started Kareem. That was a Pakistani innovator, and he's brought a lot of that wealth and experience back into Pakistan. So that's the kind of model we want to do. And of course, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, I was the one who asked the Supreme Court Justice to help me get a Pakistani passport because I love this country and I fell in love with a lovely Pakistani lady from Karachi. So I think the potential here is absolutely enormous. I'm conscious of the time, but it's
I'm pretty sure
enormous.
you will get the passport now.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Asif, coming to you. We see PTCL and Jazz as one of the companies that provide us the infrastructure, that provide us overall the solutions that can help in our day. What are the three innovative big solutions that you feel as PTCL can help the Pakistan market to grow in the innovation journey? What are the options on the table for us?
All right, thank you very much, Saqib. So, I mean, the list is long. I'll try and pick up three. So it all starts, we have to look at the whole stack, right? So when it comes to digitalization or using technology, we need to have certain prerequisites, right? So starting and looking at the prerequisites, I think there's a lot of space when it comes to connectivity, both how we connect internationally and our fiberization within the country. On top of that comes your data centers. On top of your data centers comes your solutions. I think the first opportunity that I'll pick up when it comes to selecting three, I would say the platform that we're going to choose for future is going to be extremely important. And I'm, of course, referring to, platforms that can help us optimize, with optimized usage of resources. I mean, we all know of DeepSeek. The success, one of the factors when it comes to success of DeepSeek is how optimally they utilize the infrastructure and how optimally or optimization that they brought into their models. So I think platform is kind of very important. We need to be very careful when we choose the right platform. On top of the platform, I think two things which become extremely important, Saqib. One is, of course, understanding how the emerging technologies, especially like 5G, quantum computing from the future, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence are going to work together. In every solution, in everything, and this is for general audience as well, that we're picking up, we need to keep in mind that these technologies are changing very, very rapidly. So we need to keep up our pace and pick up the right set of technologies while keeping in mind, for example, 5 years from today or 4 years from today, because these investments are large investments, right? So customers, countries, communities, governments, when they invest, there has to be a time period for which they want the solution to keep serving. We need to keep in mind that there are very interesting, very disruptive technologies on the horizon, right? So we need to keep that in mind and design our systems accordingly. So it's set of emerging technologies that I would say is the second thing that we need to pick up. And the third thing is we need to understand that now every function is transforming. Every function in an enterprise is adapting technology. So we cannot work in silos. We need to understand how the whole framework is going to look like. So in our language of technology, I'm referring to enterprise architectures. We got to be very cautious of picking up the right enterprise architecture and design things in a way that's going to fulfill the needs of various functions within the organization. So these are the three things, Saqib, that I'll pick up.
Platform enabling technologies. And I think the other important factor is how we can get our resource pool to be ready to use this technology. I will again say, we are talking a lot about technology. At the end of the day, it's the user that has to use this technology to get the required output that we need. And to be honest, the people are still fearful. They have 20 years in the job and they are fearful. Will they be able to learn the tool? Will they be able to get that output? We need to give this confidence to the people and train them out over there. I think that's really important, and this is valid for all the technologies and all the segments that we talk today.
Saqib, I would rather want to add one more thing, and you touched upon a very important aspect that I spoke about in my earlier response. It is that the users of these technologies it's not going to be only human resource. I said it before, I'll repeat myself. It is going to be, and it's already has started to change, right? So we see autonomous bots doing a lot of work for which we needed human resource in just 2 years ago, right? Similarly, machine to machine is something on the horizon that's going to take over a lot of workload. And algorithms are going to be extremely critical, and we can go into the details, but right now I will try and avoid it. But for everyone's consumption, I think the CEO of future would describe the organization not only in terms of human resource. An SME CEO would probably describe his or her organization as 300 persons, 20 algorithms, and 17 bots working for them. This is going to be the organization of future, and we got to be ready for that.
Absolutely, and for the people that will be replaced by these bots or something, we need to make sure that we get the right jobs, enablement, and skills for them as well. That's absolutely right. Usman, coming to you. You are providing solutions to the global market. What are the global market asks the digital requirements that the global market asks that our team should be ready about? What are their requirements? What they ask us that in order to be part of that global competition, what should be ready in a technical organization at this point of time, the technology organization? What are the requirements?
So usually what we have seen in general in nowadays, there is a huge surge of demand in technology, but three core areas where we've seen a whole lot of demand. One is digital transformation, right? So you cannot do anything with AI if you don't capture all the instances, you don't have the data points. And so digital transformation is something which we are seeing a huge demand. And then second, AI itself, where our clients are now asking for a lot of LLMs, agents, and they are becoming technical in itself. They are actually asking us to upskill their own workers too, right? And the third thing I think, which is probably my bet on the future, if somebody is graduating today, people ask me that if, let's suppose, if I'm taking a degree today, which degree you think will be relevant in the next 5 years, right? And that will be cybersecurity, right? So all the data online, it will create a lot of threats, right? So, and it doesn't matter whether that bank is in Pakistan or in the US. It's a digital retail store in Amsterdam or wherever, right? It's exposed to the same level of threats. So cybersecurity, we are seeing a lot of surge in demand right now, but we are expecting that this is going to go up.
Digital transformation, AI, cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Haseeb has a different question to you earlier before this comment, but I have a totally new question now, which is based and connected to this one. If you have to ask the educational institution of Pakistan today that in order to provide that digital transformation journey to the customers in Pakistan, what are the three things or skills that you want these educational institutions to provide you so that you don't need to do another extra effort on them? What are the things that they should be ready when they graduate?
I think the first one I'll second on what Usman said earlier. Giving students real life problems, even if it's in a simulation setting as well. So what we used to call case study based learning, etc. So I think that is one thing that we need to provide as a skill to the students, and we need in our with our students as well, that universities need to provide to industry. That is number one. Number two, education is going to be very personalized as per the student as well. So critical thinking, the ability to ask the right questions and to solve problem. Innovation is not just tech innovation or innovating new things, is also how we work, how we optimize, how we improve ourselves, etc. as well. So the ability to innovate on multiple dimensions. So that is, I think, the second key thing that I like the students to have as well in the upcoming workforce as well. Now, in terms of specifically tech, from a technology standpoint, the AI bot which can code better than the top 200 developers globally who are there. So that is how good the coding bots are. So just to highlight that what is going out of picture. What is going to take that particular space is, from a technology standpoint, the AI, the data scientists, not the AI part of it, but the non-AI part of it as well, that is still required. So we need our engineers and scientists who can invent and expand the boundaries on the emerging tech further. So the research side of AI, I think that is what we need in the industry more and more, because that is what our tech companies is going to be selling 4 or 5 years from now to the global stage.
If I have to summarize, and it's important wherever we are, in whichever role that we are in this room, that how we connect to the skill development portion that is being highlighted by one of the companies that are providing these services in Pakistan, and that the more important is practical problems and solutions to be taught within the university. Give the practical industry problem and solution. Maybe we spend more time. We spend, instead of our last year program or last year final project, we start doing it in the last 2 years so that they get enabled to that one. I think very rightfully pointed out. The second important part is, even if you are an engineer, if you are a CA, if you are something computer science or something, critical thinking is the one, and how to pick up that question is the key. So we universities wants to kill that angle, how they generate that critical thinking angle within the student. That is very, very important. And third important angle is, you may be having commerce, you may be having home economics, you may be having something taught the AI angle in your industry within the university. So when the students come in, they are knowing the base. That is important, and that's really, really important. Thank you very much, Asif, for highlighting it, because if we have to get well for Pakistan and deliver, the chain has to work from the student to the institution, going to the industry, and then going the output to the global world. If any of that chain is not providing its input, it will not happen. Saqib, we have 1 minute and 3 seconds for your last questions. How you are able to change the infrastructure discussion to the business discussion? Previously, we used to know Dell, IBM, overall, we go them, we want the hardware from them, but that was a very infrastructure-led discussion. how you are able to change that to the business discussion as of today?
Okay, thank you, and I'll be very, very quick on this. So, Saqib, I think this discussion has already changed, and I'll give you brief names. For example, we are talking about IBM Watson for customer service and risk modeling. We're talking about IBM Maximo for enterprise asset management and Open Pages for governance, risk, and compliance. We're talking about storage defender type of technologies for storage resiliency and hybrid cloud for on-prem, integrating on-prem and multiple clouds. So it has already changed and changing, and if the scenario is different now. We are just final remarks that digital transformation is not really about adopting technologies. It's about creating real measurable value for people, businesses, and society. So, as someone said, that future belongs to those who align innovation with purpose. So, thank you.
Future belongs to those that aligns innovation with purpose. And what is the purpose today, ladies and gentlemen? We come to the end of this session, and the session was about what lies ahead. And to be honest, as Pakistanis, we need to define our own destiny. We need to own our own problems. We need to be clear what is our responsibility on this chain that can get that end result which matters for us. At the end of the day, today, whatever tariffs Trump is pushing in, he's trying to do the best for America. And the most important thing for us is what we have to do for ourselves. We have an identity, we are a country, we have a number of people that matters, and very importantly, all of us has a role to play. Don't put it on the government only. Don't put it on some people that you feel are responsible. If each of us are doing the role that are required from us, other than our job that we are giving back to the system and to the society, that's the only thing that will matter at the end of the day. We may not be there, and we may be there to see what the change that we can bring in, but at the end of the day, this country has to stay and this country has to prosper in the best possible way, and we need to be the enablers that can make this country to the best possible way. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, be part of this panel.